Okay. Said there was a mistake on there for a second, but there isn't anymore. Anyway, good morning. Happy Monday. Um, I think today is the last day where we don't have the glorious Waninator, the one and only Juan. I can't wait for the Juan token still. That's gonna be really fun. Yeah, we were gonna have a guest today, but that didn't. We're going back and forth with this guy. We'll figure it out. It'll happen at some point. I want to just kind of apologize. I've been kind of working straight for the past 2 weeks. In the last 6 days in a row, I've had music shows, like 3-4 music shows in a week. It's pretty tiresome. But I'm feeling it. I'm feeling very, very tired. Because it's just been, all day doing this stuff and then gigs. And usually I have like a little bit of time to not do anything every week. And this week just wasn't that. It was a lot of craziness. Now, again, I feel like every time I just want to like recognize that, I'm tired. This might not be the best show ever. Who knows? Maybe it is. Weird things have happened, but every single time I complain about how exhausting playing shows is, I'm like, dude, you get paid to play guitar. I'm like, fuck off. Like there's people that when they have to go to the fiat mines are much less fortunate than me. So, anyways, Megan the WIENR Queen. Okay, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about today, and I will actually pull up. Excuse me, I'm going to pull up the link. So there was I think it was like 440 million or 4 billion, something like that. What's that Boulder Magic? There's what 800 million. Yeah, I think there's 4 billion. It's like 0.5% of supply was in the rewards account for WIENR after a couple weeks. And Wax DAO, now called Wax Fusion, much better name. It put out some token staking stuff. So now you can stake your WIENR. You can stake your WIENR. Or, you'd think that would get old at some point. It just doesn't. It doesn't get old. Anyway, so you can go to Wax Fusion or Wax DAO. And again, I'll put the link up here in a second and stake for 30 days. And Megan actually doubled it. So instead of having, around 0.5%, it's like basically just under a full percent of supply is going out in the next 30 days to people that are staking. So let me get that link here before I forget and get distracted, because I don't know if you guys have met me, but I do distraction at an alarming rate. All right. And while you're here, again, it's very fun and helpful for me if tons of people, while I'm here by myself, ask me lots of questions. So there you go. And you guys are usually really good at that anyway, but just throwing it out there. Okay, so the second one down is WIENR. The title of the staking thing is Grow Your WIENR, because of course it is. TC, what's up, man? You can stake your WIENR. You can do it for 30 days. There's something that I haven't really seen this on Wax before. I think I like it though. So instead of morning Dapper, instead of having a situation where like there's an unstaked cooldown, basically there's just a vesting period, right? So like you can't take it out for 14 days, which I think is kind of interesting. Red Scorpion, hello. All my faves are here. What's up, guys? What's going on? The farms.waxdao.io/farms. Click on that if you want. You can stake your WIENR. Again, one thing I wanted to mention, because it's always a sort of a calculation, if you're going to get into LP, and again, like the stuff that we're doing with Wax on Edge, that Nefty is doing with Wax on Edge, they've got like a legit partnership going on. They're going to be doing their own DeFi, their own liquidity pools, yada yada yada, right? So like the farms that we're going to be able to do at scale and permissionlessly, is that a word? Are coming, right? So like that's that part of sort of our little community adventure has slowed down a little bit, that's there's going to be a bit of an explosion on that, in my humble opinion. It's not opinion. We're literally just going to make it happen once that stuff goes. Because sitting around waiting for Zeller to put stuff up. And again, he was trying to be helpful. He's a really, really busy guy. Was a pain. Anyway, Geeky, you're not that late. It's no problem. So you can see your reader. Point is, making the calculation that you need to make at least 5% in whatever period, is very rational, right? Because you're losing 5% just by moving it in there. Okay, so I think one thing to remember with the LP is if you're doing it on Alcor as an example, if you just unstake your LP from the farm, not from the liquidity pool, but just from the farm, and then they do another farm and you get into that farm, you haven't been dinged again, right? So that's an important thing for me, right? So like I'm in, I think AIGOD Shill, I went in like heavy on that, and I know he's going to do more pools like that. So I'm just not taking it out of LP; it just sits there, right? And then when it comes in, we can do another one or whatever. So I don't have to earn 5% in that first run. I can do it over 10 runs if I want to, right? If I've got a sort of a reasonable certainty that those pools will continue in some fashion, then we can keep doing that. And in the same way for the rewards pool, Megan is planning to just re-up it after the 30 days. And you won't even have to unstake. You just leave it in there, right? And so, obviously she's going to take a look at sort of where things are at with the rewards pool. And I think they want to do a couple other things with the rewards pool in like a staggered way, right? So yeah. How's that investing and not a locking period? I guess locking period is probably a better term for it. I didn't make the term; he made the term, but that's probably more accurate, Boulder. And honestly, like this is all new for, well, not all new. He's done a lot of cool things like this before, but Mike just launched this like a little while ago, right? So that might be like a good edit for him to kind of make it more clear. It didn't really strike out to me as sort of necessary, but I think your description is more clear. So, and more clear and better communication is always good. Last time I checked. Okay. I have to complain about something. I'm really sorry that I have to do this. My wife makes really weak coffee. It's like drinking brown water. None of this is important for you guys. Thank you for coming with me on that little journey. It's like last couple of days. I think she's trying to extend my life so that we can, survive past the singularity and start aging backwards. I get it. But goddamn, this morning I really need some good coffee. Anyway, so yeah, so just to kind of reiterate that point, the 14-day thing, the vesting, and to Boulder's point, vesting kind of means like you're not really earning until that time. That's not how this works. So a lockup period makes a lot more sense, right? You stake it, you can't unstake it for 14 days, but you're earning that whole time. So you could stake actually before this. Today, I think is the first day that goes live. So that's fun on the WIENR thing. So the ANON drop is this week. Today I'm connecting with a lot of the partners to see sort of where they're at. Yeah, sorry, Boulder. Unless you mean by vesting, you can take out 1/14 of what you put in each of the 14 days. Yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm fairly certain that isn't the case. I'm pretty sure it's just that you can't take it out for 14 days. And I think when you're doing it, I think it says that. But I wasn't really paying attention when I did it. So, but yeah, honestly, like any feedback that you guys have, Mike D is going to be pretty excited about it. So, because obviously he wants to make sure that this is really good for people. So, yeah. So ANON partners, a bunch of them are getting stuff out. I know Dapper did something. WIENR's going to be posting theirs pretty soon. So, ways to get those ticket packs. There's going to be 1,000 of them. I'm going to be doing one for Uplift. I think I'm going to do half to the 6-month stakers, and then half on a social media thing. I really wanted to get another round of those 6-month stakers out before this, but again, like this past week's just been completely fucking mental. So by the time we do, this is what, the third drop. By the time we do the fourth drop, I'm going to have a chance for people to get in on the 6-month stakers for Uplift, so they can sort of more can go out that way. I think. Basically this time, one is going to go out, per account. I want to make sure that we get, big spread or whatever. Cause there's like a few people that hold tons of them or whatever. Like, I just want like, if you have one of these 6-month stickers, you're going to get one of these things and we'll spread it out that way. Yeah. And there's a bunch, there should be in the ANON channel. There's a list of all the partners. Of course, as usual, you can go talk to those partners, find out how they're going to do it. I know PFP Wizards is doing stuff, and Peer and Rug Apes and all those crazy bastards are doing a bunch of stuff. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff out there for the next couple of days. They need to get their wax addresses to me. So that's just kind of how we're doing. We're doing like a whitelisted claim, basically, right? So everybody needs to have their wax addresses to me by the 3rd. And then by the 5th, you're going to be able to pick up your pack. So however many times your wax address shows up on my sort of master list that I get back from everybody will be how many claims you can do. Now, one thing, so there's going to be like a little ticket, and it's just going to be like for the fair launch or whatever, right? So in every pack, there's going to be a ticket, and you'll be able to use that plus wax to get the fair launch, and that's going to actually run on the 5th. It's going to run for 24 hours, so no matter where you are in the world, you'll have a chance to get in there, which is fun. But the thing that's kind of exciting me the most, I'm getting like sort of reports back from the partners about what they plan to do for the presidents, because we basically said, okay, anybody that wants to put partner liquidity in, you can do that. Excuse me. And a lot of them are doing more than kind of what we suggested as the minimum last time. So I think the liquidity on this one's going to start at a very, very fun level, I believe. But we also said, hey, like if we're going to do packs on this ticket thing. If you want to send in NFTs that are like little presents or whatever, then we'll include those as a chance winning kind of thing. And just hearing about what a lot of the people are sending in has been really fun. It's been quite cool. So thank you to all the partners that are kind of coming together to do some cool shit, as it were. And okay, so just to finish on the ANON thing. Yep. See what happened to my brain there? Boop, done. I feel like I need to sleep for like 3 days. Anyways, so the 5th is going to be the fair launch thing. The 6th is going to be the IDO. And I think it's still our intent to do the open liquidity provision as well. I wonder if we'll launch that tomorrow. I think Juan had a plan for that. He's still not back from vacation. He's getting back tomorrow. So we're going to sort of put our heads together and do that. And basically that's where like we're, the little experiment we did with LP last time where, people could send us some money and, we take that and we took some WIENR and mashed it up and created some LP with it. We're just kind of testing what it looks like when we expand that. So, there's going to be, I think ANON decided on 200 spots. A third of them are going to just be, $50 each. We match it with ANON, gets put into liquidity. You get, $50 at that moment, right? So you get half of those liquidity tokens back in 2 weeks. Done. The second second third, I guess, will be for 3 months, but you get some bonus tokens. So basically get like, I think the way we decided to do it, I actually really like that we did it this way. So the bonus tokens that you'll get basically $5 worth of bonus token, but on the day 2 price, not the IDO price. So, you put $50 in the LP. The LP last time, and again, like we'll see how it goes this time, but the LP like did pretty well as a value proposition because an ROI over, a bit of time. So we wanted to basically see what, we're going to test out, what happens if we incentivize people to basically leave it in there for 3 months, right? So you get 10% of tokens on top of that at that day 2 level. And then for 6 months, it's $10 worth on that day 2 level. So we'll obviously track all that stuff. One of the things I was talking to ANON about too, because we're going to do this as an NFT, I think I need to confirm with Juan that we can do this. I'm pretty sure that we can. I want to have it set up so that these NFTs you own them, right? So you can buy them, sell them, trade them, anytime up until, I think like a blend goes live or something, right? Like you can basically redeem them at a certain point. Kind of like the way that I did it for the 6-month stakers, right? You have those NFTs, but like at the blend out to get like the pack with the rewards and shit in it, was visible that first day. So that you could see like, this is the clock ticking down. This is when, you're going to be able to kind of, do that. Right. Cause it allows us to kind of do like a phased, staking thing that I found sort of compelling. But anyway, yeah. So that's, we're going to have to get on that and get that stuff, figured out tomorrow probably, but July 4th, man, everybody's going to be partying tomorrow. Oh, excuse me. I'm legitimately going to sleep all day tomorrow. I'm so exciting. Oh, man. Okay. So I think that's pretty much everything on ANON. If obviously anybody has any questions about it or wants to talk about any of that stuff, let me know because that's super fun. So the other thing is, the Flip Tribes game with the AIGOD. We've been testing it a little bit longer. Tuttle's been bouncing back and forth to her families in Vancouver and stuff. So that's been like a thing. But it really seems like it all works. Dennis has been working on sort of visual aesthetic stuff for it that I think is getting really, really close. So we wanted to sort of take some time and see if we could pretty it up a little bit, which is going to be good. Well, and we still need to make sure that the Victory NFT system is functional. We haven't tested that yet. So all that stuff, just to say that it's in the works, which is kind of fun. I feel like there was something else there, and now I can't remember what it is. My apologies. Yep, losing my mind. Yep. Nope. Anyway, so yeah, still in the works. Oh, that's why, because it was about AIGOD, but not about Flip Drives. Dennis is actually working on some really cool AI integration for Telegram and Discord. And again, like we've got some stuff that we did for MetaMinds that, but I think like Dennis had some really, really specific things that he wanted to do. So he's been working on all that stuff. And again, like Dennis has, a full-time job in the fiat mines as well, right? So like he's having to pay some stuff on all that stuff. But just so that you guys know, like he's getting some stuff done, which is kind of fun. And Wax is very slow. I went to I was on Twitter this morning and I saw Adrian, and a lot of the conversation there in the very short time that I was there, kind of waiting to start the show here, just how difficult it is to kind of run a business on Wax right now. It is like this is it's it's bad. So go and find the price of Wax right now. I don't even want to look. Anybody know where it is? Whatever. Who cares? But yeah, it's been interesting, and like I wonder sometimes because I sort of this to me right now feels like kind of like still the middle of the market or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, like I feel like there's other places and we talk about this on the show a lot, right? Below 4 cents again. That's why I really should not have asked. That's probably why he's there. Like, and Adrian was saying, like at 40 cents, like you can build a decent business here, but at 4, it's tough. And again, like we're kind of making the bet that we can turn it into something. But that's a bet, right? Like that's like now I should set a rule to like never think about this stuff when I'm this tired. It's, I still very much believe in the vision of what's possible for us. But it's tougher to be this sort of like rah cheerleader when when you're tired. Yeah, Wax goes up and down. Yeah, it's great you get so much Wax. And this is the thing, like, if last cycle, the longer it stayed at 4 cents, the happier I was. Because we were on track to be releasing some good things, but then like there was more, it felt like there was more energy in the system, but also I was really new, so like I wonder if that's not necessarily the case, because there's like right now there's way more projects that are working and functional and sort of have a self-sustaining kind of game economy or whatever, right? Like there's things that are working, whereas last time it was like all the brands were dropping, whatever, and it was a crazier time. But yeah, okay, so to focus on better news, which is more fun for me. The Ton Bridge apparently is happening really, really soon from Wax, which I think is smart, really, really smart. So we're going to see some stuff there. And I haven't really messed around with the Ton wallet or whatever. Obviously I got into like a couple of those little clicker games to kind of, try and experience what all the buzz is about and stuff. But yeah, that bridge is going to be interesting. I'm going to go see what their DeFi is like over there too, to kind of check some stuff out. Okay. one thing I got to do. Um, there was a 160-page essay that came out from an ex-employee of OpenAI. He was actually brought on to do the super alignment team. And this was like, I don't know, 8 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was. And they were told that 20% of all of OpenAI's compute was going to be invested in alignment. Um, that might have been the truth when they said it, but then they did a massive deal with Microsoft to basically get their hands on many billions of dollars worth of compute to start training advanced models, and that kind of quickly went out the window. And then this dude, I think his name's Leopold Aschenbrenner, something like that. I'm gonna find you a link to a YouTube interview now. Basically was like, suggesting that they should probably have some more advanced security than just like a normal, Silicon Valley startup, because AI is probably going to have some national security implications at some point. And I felt, frankly, personally validated. I've been saying this for 6 years, but to have somebody that highly placed, was interesting. Anyway, so he had a 4-hour interview with, I think his name's Dwarkesh Patel. And I, like, ordinarily, I talk to my wife about, AI all the time, probably to the point where like she gets really annoyed. But she's very patient, thankfully. And this was, we just had it on yesterday morning before I had to go to my show. And we probably only had like the first couple hours on it, but it was one of the, like, I was, pausing it every few minutes to sort of have some really awesome conversation about it. And this is the thing, I'm going to share this. There's 40 people here. I want 40 people to watch this because this is necessary, in my clearly humble opinion. But anyway, like, she works as a clinical neuropharmacologist at the VA. She's a very smart lady. And I've been trying to tell her, like, every information job, every single information job, and AI will be able to do it very, very soon. And I mean, she's, and I'm a little bit biased, but like always among the very, very best in whatever position that she's in, like top 5%, generally speaking, right? Even that, like, and who knows how long it takes to percolate into the system or whatever, but from a functional point of view, having expert information in your brain grapes, and AI is going to be inherently better than everyone. And it's going to be able to see 20 years ahead of where a lot of people, thought, right? Because it can do it kind of now, right? And, it's going to be able to talk to people and then, right? So there's things that have just sort of come out, near term around AI that is not, so we were watching that. This was like the first time that I think she realized that things are really going to change, and not like in the short term, like before the end of this decade, they're going to change. And a lot of it, they're talking about having already planned data centers to train more advanced models that will require the same amount of energy as Miami. Just like, and really, like, I have been concerned about climate change for a long time, much less so now because of the trend lines on renewables. I mean, yes, there's still an issue, and blah blah blah, but renewables are they're increasing exponentially, right? So if that continues, like, this is going to actually hopefully work out. Obviously, like, don't take your foot off the gas, right? But then you're talking about and in this video I'm going to share with you guys, he's talking about if the national security risk is as much as he says it is, and I think his arguments are very compelling. Then you basically just like plop these things down to next to the shale gas, in Colorado or wherever it is, like all over those places, and you just use it, and yeah, that has an impact on the climate. But then you use your hyper advanced AI to solve for the climate, right? It's just like you use that to make fusion or whatever. That to me is like a bulletproof argument, believe it or not. Like, the phase change is so incredible, and it really goes through this sort of timeline where within 2 years ish, and don't quote me on these numbers, go watch it yourself, but in like a really idiotically short amount of time, you're going to be able to have like a drop-in assistant that's like a PhD level, but like a PhD level in everything, right? And we sort of don't know what that looks like. And in a couple of years, they're going to start training models around how to be an advanced AI researcher. And so they basically said, like, for XYZ amount of compute cost in a data center, you're going to be able to run 1,000 advanced AI researchers at 100x human speed, um, you know, uh, forever. And like the possible advancements that are going to come from that are just like they're shocking. You spend the first a couple of years on bootstrapping your own AI, and like very very quickly you get to artificial superintelligence. Um, and I have uh, very few people other than Ray Kurzweil that start like he says shit that's nuts that we're all going to start aging backwards and you're going to have nanobots in your brain and. But when you really start to imagine what artificial superintelligence is going to look like at scale, it actually starts to make sense to me anyway. And maybe I'm insane. But yeah, that's been keeping me up last 2 nights. I actually have a meeting with Tuttle later today because personally I want to retake a look at what we want to do with our little startup. Like obviously the Flip Tribes game is really fun. We've got some other stuff that we've kind of had on the R&D table for a while, but a lot of it has been sort of creating some stepped reasoning kind of stuff that I think is going to be really really interesting, because these models are getting so much better that it's actually baking stepped reasoning into the actual model. And if you don't know how large language models work, it at the very very basic level, it's sort of like statistically picking the next token, right? Not even the next word all the time. But when you start to understand that what it has encoded is not just language, but all the combinations of language, and reasoning ends up actually happening through that, right? Language really is just sort of a logic strata with objects in it, right? So like it really does get this sort of reasoning result in it. And a lot of these models, the bigger they get, it starts to also act as stepped reasoning, when really that process is just sort of going into a neural network and picking sort of the best possible routes through it or whatever, right? And again, like human beings are kind of that way, but in a obviously massively parallel way instead of sort of brute force. But okay, I'm ranting now. Anyways, sort of contemplating where these things are going to be in 2 years, like the AI assistant, very very smart AI assistant. We've sort of been building that, and the hive mind stuff, like the stepped reasoning, like where it'll basically like pose a question, make a plan, da 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 da. We've got like a bunch of different things we've sort of built into architecture, and we've got our own version of baby AGI running, which is like an agent that never stops. And we've got a system that'll actually sort of run and build code and deploy stuff and can do some simple things, right? So we've got like the basic architecture for some of this going. And I have a suspicion that it might end up being the right path, because the models are going to get so good that having that architecture that's really just designed to amplify them is going to be really helpful. And so for me, this is what's been keeping me up. I feel like we need to get to a point, or where I personally need to get to a point where I have an AI that's running 24 hours a day, like even if it's just on my GPU on this computer, but being able to amplify and function constantly. And I think we're sort of interestingly close to that. And obviously, like once we get to that point, I want to start deploying things that will hopefully function and add value to everybody, to all of us, to you guys, right? One of the first things, we were toying around with this idea for a while, but creating an AI owned DAO. So a DAO that's entirely, the keys are owned by an AI that's independent. They can do its own sentiment analysis on the entire internet and buy and sell crypto automatically, which is going to be kind of fun. Oh, honestly, I have a meeting. Honestly, hopefully not today. I don't feel very smart, but tomorrow, about launching that. This is a sad thing too. Like, and this person has a lot of experience. The guy we're talking about partnering up with to test it out, but a lot of experience on a lot of other like sort of DeFi centric chains. But we were talking about where we should launch it or whatever, and I don't think there's any, like, I think we can have an iteration of it on wax, but we couldn't just do it on wax. Um, Not right now, which is sad. Anyway, well, mostly just because he wouldn't do it. He wants stuff with D5 volume that has like probably 2 or 3 zeros more than what we have on here. Um, and again, like I started thinking, and I think Dennis has been thinking about this too, like the undervalued feel of where wax is, even right now, right? Um, to me, like, I mean, this is where we're focused on the TG, game that we're starting to plan out, like the things to get, to go get 1 million new users for wax, or like if we fail 100,000, which would be great, right? That's like, you know, uh, 200 times more than how many people are kind of usably hanging out with us right now. Uh, so there's tons of things that we can do to kind of get it going. There's just tons of work to do, but this is where the sort of AI influencer kind of thing has worked a little bit. I think there's a lot of work to kind of uh, make it continually interesting and valuable, like not just like a thing that just makes noise on Twitter every day. Although honestly, like that, even that would be good for us right now. But something that can be engaging and produce valuable information for all of us, that is the actual attractor. Like Scron would talk constantly, like, I just like do the attention farming. And again, like part of it is like the attention farming thing, whatever you say about it, it works, right? So like we want to bring attention to our tokens, to our ecosystem, or whatever. That's kind of a bit of degen culture, right? Big ones, small ones, medium sized ones, projects do this. But getting to the point where we can deploy AIs that are marketing our projects, but offering value and building community in a real way, I think is entirely fucking possible. And I would like for that to be happening while I'm asleep, which I need to do more. Anyways, craziness. All right, so I'll hang out for another couple of minutes. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think I'll probably take off. I think I'm gonna go and, like, I don't know, buy some coffee. Oh, I was gonna actually share that link with you guys. And then I'm like, who am I talking about? Yeah. This dude actually had Mark Zuckerberg on as well, and it was pretty good. I'll tell you this though, not as good as this guy. Again, very long. I can't recommend it highly enough. I want you guys to understand what's going to happen in the next 10 years. And you'll have a better idea of what to look for. And my hope, and this is why I'm going to have a conversation with Tuttle today. I was talking to her yesterday. When we started this, basically like the day GPT-4 came out, I coded my first app for Discord, 0 coding experience, right? Which was pretty fun. And since then, we've been, building out a lot of things and playing with a lot of stuff and doing some R&D and, seeing where we could find some product market fit, right? And that's relatively challenging, especially considering all the other stuff we have going on. The game is frankly my favorite thing that we've tried, just because I have a very high degree of certainty that it's going to not only work but create a system that works really well for lots of different communities. But like, this is the tip of the iceberg. It's like the snowflake on the tip of the iceberg. When we all have agents that are able to do very, very meaningful work for us all of the time, even if those things are simple at first, and that's what I want to build now, because I think we've been playing around with the architecture for how to do this for quite a bit, like kind of on the R&D sort of back of the napkin kind of thing. But I'm really hungry to see some kind of MVP loop that can also be self-evolving. Because if we can make that work, then however good the models continue to get, and they're going to get shockingly better all the time. I think the things that we have been messing around with, and the thing that I want to try and build for us, even if it's just internally, will only benefit from being, having access to better and better models. Anyway, thank you for coming to my stream of consciousness. Yeah, it's essential. Like I know we've talked about it a couple times, but I want all of you guys to just start using AI every day, and I don't care how. It honestly doesn't matter. Um, but whether it's like apparently Claude 3.5 is freaking amazing. GPT-4 and 4.0 are awesome. The voice thing has been blowing my mind quite a bit, and that's actually set to get much better in the coming months. Um, you know, get as close to the AI as you can and stay there. And again, that I don't care if you're a florist or you write freaking Shakespearean sonnets. It doesn't matter. Or if you're a plumber, same thing. So yeah, and even the version of it right now, the OpenAI, the ChatGPT, the paid version, you can actually just talk to it. And when I drive, that's pretty much all I do now. Is just brainstorm with the AIs. And actually, I'm just going to talk to Tuttle about making our own, because there's we've kind of done like the pieces to it, but there's some limitations of working with OpenAI. Like I want to be able to save stuff, and I want to have it be able to write code snippets that actually go on. Anyway, long story short, I want it to be able to do stuff, and it can't really do that yet. ChatGPT is like $20 a month, I think, still. And I'm telling you guys right now, it'll be the best $20 you spend every month. Period. Like period. It's to me essential. Yeah, and I think it's only on mobile, but you can just have a conversation with it. I mean, it's very, very good, like obnoxiously good. And I think my favorite part about it is this is like the worst it's ever going to be. Um, yeah, there's tons more to talk about that, but yeah. So, but like stuff that I haven't tried, but I think is like I've been meaning to. Anthropic is another company out there that has really amazing models. They just released, I think it's Claude 3.5 Sonnet or some shit like that, and it's supposed to be significantly better than GPT-4o for coding, and for some other things. I saw some people that were very, very excited about how it was doing on reasoning benchmarks and some stuff like that. So that is another possibility. Um, I think there's one more too. Perplexity. I haven't tried it yet, but I've been hearing really interesting things. It's like technically search, but um, it's more designed about actually getting answers, not links to things. Um, so I was listening to a podcast with the CEO of that guy, and so that might be an interesting thing to try. If anybody does, please let me know. But yeah, I mean, right now. I think ChatGPT is still sort of the industry standard, but I'm very open to being proven wrong about that. I think that is not necessarily going to last, especially considering like the open source models that are coming out, and then being used to train other models. It's one of the interesting things about this for me, in especially in listening to a lot of these podcasts. I actually just picked up Ray Kurzweil's latest book. I was listening to that on the road yesterday. The gig was very far away. And he actually goes through like how neural networks work from like the math base. I was listening to that while like I was like setting up my guitar, and everyone's like, "Oh, cool, the guitar player assholes here." I'm like trying to learn how neural networks work and sort of the history of why those became plausible. Right? He said even like 3 years ago, um, the amount of compute required was too expensive, basically, to run the language models at scale, so that these kind of emergent reasoning kind of abilities could come out. Um, and yeah, so AI, Aider, AIDER, interesting. Let's check that out. Well, I think there's a few for coding, and again, like I've been, I kind of started getting busy, obviously, with all of you guys doing all this stuff, right? But Tuttle's been, doing most of the coding for us, on the back end, and I think she still uses GPT-4 exclusively, but I think we need to branch out, even if it's just to try out that Claude 3. But she might have too, like she's been doing a lot of work there. So, but I'll check that Aider out. Thank you. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Okay, so that Leopold Aschenbrenner, again, it's 4 hours. Like I I would beg you to watch it. And I think, I mean, you guys are into crypto, so like ordinarily for like muggles, I was really like, hey, listen, like a lot of the things that this guy says are going to sound nuts, and some of the terms I had to Google, and very into AI, right? So like, like it's a thing that might happen. Uh, but everything this guy says is basically true, and it means that we're going to be alive for the most ridiculous phase change in human history, like by far. And I want us to be ready for it. I want us to not be left behind. And that's what kept me up last night, and frankly keeps me up a bunch of nights. How do we figure out how to meaningfully get on this AI wave and keep as many of us on it as we possibly can? 'Cause a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. In fact, a majority of people will lose their jobs. And again, like the task, and obviously UBI is kind of on the thing, right? Like it might end up being a much more seamless transition than even the industrial revolution, because AI is also there. Even like the open source last year model, like 5 years from now, it's going to be fucking PhD at everything, right? So like the idea that we can't apply a lot of that compute to figuring out how to sort of distribute things economically and or create more things for the monkeys and meat robots to do, right? Like that we could apply AI to that problem. It might just end up being okay, but um, I'm concerned about it, because I think it's I at least for my family and for the people that for you guys, like that we're going to talk about all this stuff quite a bit and stuff, right? um Yeah. Anyway, it's on my mind. So, do you qualify for the Anon token drop for having 10K Nifty staked or 15K Nifty or multiples of those numbers? So, I like the Medium article on it. I'm pretty sure he put a Medium article on it. I wouldn't venture to guess. I haven't looked at it since last week. So I'm not 100% sure, but that I know Juan made a very detailed thing in there. And again, if any of it is unclear, he's going to be back tomorrow. So, or get the community claim to blend like last time. Okay, so yeah, there's no NFTs to blend this time. So if you qualify for a project's sort of part of that distribution, all the projects are going to send me 50 wax addresses each. Your wax address could be in every single one of those sets. If right, that would be fine. And the number of times your wax address shows up on that list, that will be the number of free claims that you can do on the packs. The packs have tickets in them, plus some presents from some partners that decided to put some stuff in there. And then on the 5th, that ticket plus some wax will get you the Anon token from the fair launch. All right, homies. Thanks for the comments. I'm going a little bit cross-eyed here. Go and find out as much about AI as you possibly can, and then teach all the people you care about. And just seriously use it every day for something. And if you don't know what to use it for, ask the AI what to use it for, and it'll tell you. It's crazy. Cheers, Red. Thanks, man. I definitely wanted to, I want to make sure that we're consistent no matter what. Even when Juan's not here, we want to make sure we keep the ball going as much as possible. Yeah, all this shit is cumulative, my friends. All right, so we got to do the thing. Boom. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.